Now on 7 News at 4, a lawsuit filed against an upstate county sheriff's office.
We're hearing from the attorney for a family who says they want justice.
Plus, U.S. health officials head to Capitol Hill for a progress report on the CDC's response to monkeypox as that virus claims the country's first victim.
And respecting the past, a new Greenville restaurant opens its doors today in a location that means a lot to the community.
Thanks for watching. We do have breaking news out of Spartanburg County. Most of the police force in the town of Pacolet has resigned.
7 News' Henry Coburn has been in contact with the now former police chief and joins us live with more details. Henry.
Taylor and Amy, Chief John Alexander says that he and 5 other officers here at the Pacolet Police Department have resigned. Now, we don't know exactly why just yet. We're waiting for 5 o'clock to learn. Chief Alexander will be here to read off a statement as to why he and the others are leaving the post. Now, the city released a statement today saying that they've known about this impending resignation since the first of the month. That statement did not outline why the officers are leaving, though. The Pacolet mayor called this a, quote, time of turbulence. Town Councilman Daniel Hood posted on Facebook he believes it has to do with the council's decision to retain the town administrator, Patrick Kay. We reached out to the mayor and town administrator today for comment. They have not yet replied. In the interim, the town says it will rely on the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office for its law enforcement needs. But for right now, we are still waiting for that 5 o'clock mark. That's when we're told that Chief Alexander is going to explain to us why he and his fellow officers are leaving their post. We'll keep you posted as we learn more on air and online at WSPA.com. But for now, live in Pacolet, Henry Coburn, 7 News.
Thank you, Henry. A breaking news update now. We are learning more about a wrongful death lawsuit filed against an upstate sheriff's office.
The suit follows a crash back in April that killed an elderly woman. Her family wants someone held accountable. 7 News' Sophia Radaba spoke to the family attorney.
This is the road where 80-year-old Sarah Parsons' car was hit by an Anderson County deputy. She was killed, and now her family has filed a lawsuit saying that deputy was going 101 miles per hour and also ran a red light right before the crash.
On April 3rd, an Anderson County deputy, Jonathan Westbrook, was responding to an armed robbery on Highway 28. That's when his cruiser collided with the car driven by Parson, who was pulling out of a private driveway. She was airlifted to the hospital and then died from her injuries. The sheriff's office says they fired Westbrook days later. I got the chance to sit down with Parsons' daughters several weeks after the crash. They told me their family was devastated. Now, 5 months later, the family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Westbrook and the Anderson County Sheriff's Office. The lawsuit claims Westbrook's vehicle was going 101 miles per hour and ignored a traffic light, which caused the crash.
I think it's very important for the family that justice is served here and the Sheriff's Office is held accountable. We have wonderful clients. They love their mother dearly, and they were absolutely just crushed by her loss in such a violent way. And so they are committed to taking this case and pursuing it as long as it takes.
Now, I did reach out to the Anderson County Sheriff's Office. They say they can't comment on any pending litigation. In Anderson, Sophia Radaba, 7 News.
The family's lawyer says it could be over a year before this trial is held.
7 News meteorologist Dan Bickford is joining us for a look outside today. A little cloudy out there, Dan.
Some clouds, some sun, and they're friendly clouds. Let's put it that way. Just a few fair weather clouds drifting from north to south. They'll dissipate with the loss of daytime heating. It's been another gorgeous day out there. 83 in downtown Greenville right now, 79. Spartanburg, Gaffney, and Clemson, still 73 up in Hendersonville. Some of those fair weather clouds fade. We're looking at mostly clear skies overnight. A return trip to a few upper 50s in the upstate by tomorrow morning. Some lower 50s with some patchy valley fog in the mountains. We're not done with this run of nice weather yet. We'll take a look ahead and talk about our latest tropical system coming up.
Dan, thank you. 2 people are in custody after a woman was shot and killed in Greenville County. Here's what we know about it. Dion Dobbs and Jamerick Brannon are charged with murder by the sheriff's office. Deputies say they believe Dobbs and Brannon fired shots that hit the victim, Jukia Babb, after an altercation on Staunton Bridge Road. The coroner's office says Babb was driven in a car to Greenville Memorial Hospital last night. She died about 90 minutes later. Dobbs and Brannon are both waiting for a bond hearing.
A motorcyclist is dead after a crash in Greenville County. Now, Highway Patrol says it happened just before 8 this morning on US 29, about a mile south of Greer. Troopers tell us a pickup driver turned left onto a private driveway while traveling north. A motorcycle heading in the other direction ran into the truck. The motorcycle driver died at the scene. We are waiting to learn the name from the coroner.
U.S. health officials on Capitol Hill today talking about the nation's response to the monkeypox outbreak. The hearing right before the Senate Health Committee happened just days after a person in California with a compromised immune system died from monkeypox. Dina Demetrius has more from L.A.
By every measure, the response from the Biden administration on monkeypox crisis has been a catastrophic failure.
Senators on both sides of the aisle held nothing back as they grilled public health officials during a Senate hearing about the spread of monkeypox in the U.S.
Too many missteps were made early on in the response, and a couple hundred cases turned into 21,000.
Monkeypox is now in all 50 states. The CDC says while the spread of the virus is slowing down, there are still pockets of the country where cases are on the rise.
We approach this news with cautious optimism, recognizing that we must continue to aggressively respond to with our entire toolkit, including vaccination, testing, and education about risk to inform behavior change.
The CDC says it's increased the amount of tests to 80,000 per week. And so far, more than 540,000 vaccines have been administered, with millions more available.
The U.S. response to monkeypox should in turn help to inform our response to the inevitable next emerging or re-emerging infectious disease of pandemic potential.
You repeated each of the mistakes of the early days of the COVID response and the cultural arrogance from public health officials who are supposed to be at the forefront of our response let this country down again.
The Senate hearing comes just days after the monkeypox virus claimed its first victim here in Los Angeles. The LA County Department of Public Health is not releasing any other information about the victim except to say that they had a severely weakened immune system. Dina Demetrius, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The CDC director recently ordered an internal reorganization over the agency's COVID-19 response after a report found the CDC had become too rigid and bureaucratic to act quickly. There has been a spike, by the way, in drug overdose deaths in Anderson County. Chief Deputy Coroner Don McCowan says that they are seeing about 2 to 3 drug deaths a week right now. The overdoses, we're told, are mainly from meth, fentanyl, cocaine, and heroin. He tells us the deaths are among older populations, not the younger folks experimenting with drugs.
Well, inflation's going up. Some people can't afford their medications, so they're looking to illicit drugs to offset what they used to get their prescription meds for.
Anderson County Coroner Greg Shore tells us while overdose deaths are up, so are the number of saves being made by EMS. He says in many cases, first responders are getting to scenes in time to administer Narcan.
Law enforcement officers were honored today as Crime Stoppers of Greenville held their annual award ceremony. The Russ Sorrow Award is given in honor of the Greenville police officer of the same name who gave his life in service of his community back in 1996. Today's recipient was Captain Dan Cobbler of the Travelers Rest Police Department.
I was honored just knowing what it means, what it represents, the fallen officers it represents, and then all the officers that I see that are still on the job that have got this award. I mean, these are some of the guys that I look up to ever since I got into law enforcement.
Sergeant Benny Durham of the Greenville County Sheriff's Office was given the Shield Award for his involvement in the community. It's the opening day for Lewis Barbecue in Greenville. They do have some big shoes to fill, not only in the local restaurant scene, but in the community as well. 7 News' Kelsey O'Donnell joins us live with how the restaurant is paying respects to the past. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, Taylor. Well, people are definitely really excited. I wish you could smell some of the things we're smelling right now. I'm joined by Mel, who is the general manager here at Lewis Barbecue. She's going to kind of give us a rundown of what we're seeing right now on this amazing platter. I am like salivating at my mouth right now. Now, Mel, Can you kind of describe a couple of things on here for our viewers that are watching at home and what they're seeing?
Absolutely. So we're known for our brisket because we're Texas-style barbecue here. So beef is king, so he's right here for you. We have our beautiful pork ribs. The holy trinity of Texas barbecue is the brisket, the pork ribs, and our beautiful hot gut sausage. We also have pulled pork. And then our beautiful turkey is kind of like the sleeper hit and a staff favorite. We also have mac and cheese, potato salad, creamy style coleslaw. It's also vegan. Then we have our pinto beans, and our famous signature side is our green chili corn pudding. Everybody loves it. It's kind of a cross between a cornbread and a souffle, and it's cheesy with the green chilies, and it's delicious. And then for every guest, we do free fixins. So we offer pickled onions, pickles, white onions, and also sliced white bread too.
Which is awesome, and thank you so much. This all looks amazing. And you know, this is a branch of a Charleston restaurant, Lewis Barbecue out there, and they're coming up here. They've obviously lots of anticipation coming up to this point. Now, they are at a certain site that holds a bit of a significance. It's the site of the old Tommy's Country Ham House, which has been a staple here in Greenville for about more than 30 years. Even just big in the community, you know, having people come out, even presidential candidates. So they felt like it was pretty fitting to have the former owner, Tommy Stevenson, be their first person in line today to receive a meal.
It's very nice of them doing that. Like I say, they're first class, and I'm honored to be their first customer.
Now, we did ask that the plan was to continue hosting political events here at Lewis Barbecue. They said they're open to the idea, but they're just really excited to build the community. So for now, Mel and I are going to dig into this, and definitely a spot you guys want to check out. I wish I could send all of these smells back to you, Taylor. But for now, we are live in Greenville. Kelsey O'Donnell, 7 News.
All right, Kelsey, thank you. Coming up, Queen Elizabeth II now lying in state with hundreds of thousands waiting to file past her coffin.
And later, daycare workers charged with cruelty to a child. We're learning more about what happened coming up at 4:30.
And no weather worries if you're headed out this evening. Look for mostly clear skies. Temperatures falling from the 70s into the 60s. Later this evening, we'll look ahead at the rest of the week coming up.